Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ears to the East, where I am joined by Neon, who's shaved.
I tidy up sometimes.
Just gonna give you a moment. It's a moment to address that. It's like we have occasionally have to have an episode about your beard, like the homeless one you had before and the purple one before that. But we're not talking. Actually, talking of interesting hairstyles, we're going to talk about Korean music today. And so obviously, K-pop has been a powerhouse. We've already had conversations on this channel before, so we're not going to go over it. I do think that K-pop is kind of on the descending end of that bubble. However, it's still a massive powerhouse in the charts in the West. It's a huge cultural phenomenon, and it has done a lot to really expand, sort of non-English speaking music into the English speaking world. More than any genre before it. However, some people like myself can leave more of it than we can take. I love some of it. Some of it.
I was about to say it took everything you had to do those compliments just then, didn't it?
No, actually, I mean, I will say, as you know, there's like some artists who. My problem. I'm not going to repeat myself too much. I'll say this quickly because otherwise people are going to be like, "How you've said this a million times before." My problem is that K-pop is the opposite of J-pop. K-pop has way too many formulas. Yeah, there are always exceptions, but there's so many things about it: the formulaic song structure, the way the choruses are done, the way they achieve catchiness, even down to the look. The music videos, 99% of them are kind of exactly the same style of direction. They could all be done by the same person, but it is effective. It works, and I think K-pop brought joy back into pop music. Like Western music had become so fucking dour. Like the pop music was so dour, so serious. K-pop brought back the fun, but it doesn't take away the fact there's a bit of a formula. For me, J-pop, the whole thing that makes it so interesting is it's absolutely batshit crazy, tends to be more mad on the writing. It makes it less accessible, but still. Anyway, so the reason we're talking about this today, and I will let you speak in a moment, Neon, I swear, is considering it was you who came up with this topic, and I actually think it's a really good idea. We're talking about those times when K-pop and J-pop crossover, and we're starting because you noticed it was right. So it was Lisa with a K-pop group I'd never heard of called
Stray Kids.
I almost said Stray Boys, Stray Kids, and I think the song was called like Cycle Path or something. It was a song about riding your Boris bike.
I did a reaction on it the other day, and I know the go check it out on the channel as well if you want. Shameless plug as well there. But
Neon Reaper.
So Neon Reaper Reacts now. I've had to change the name. So the Neon verse is expanding. I have a second channel now, but
you had to call it Neon Reaper Reacts because they thought otherwise you might be passive. Just the video plays and you don't react.
Exactly, I know.
Don't react at all.
So yeah,
you should do a channel called Neon Doesn't React, and you just
Neon Doesn't React.
Try not to move. I'm all for that. Anyway, sorry, you were saying about the homeless boys and Lisa. Jesus Christ, you're really good at that. Fuck, why haven't you got a channel called that? I thought you'd free trade. I thought your internet had gone wrong for a second there. You're good at that.
Yeah, so this is something that I don't really see very, very often. Now, there's a little bit of a stigma. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this assessment, or anybody in the comments. If you do, we'll do.
Oh, you mean the
audience? But it seems from me, in my experience, again, my own personal thing, I see a lot of Korean pop. I see a lot of, obviously, J-pop and stuff like that, J-rock, K-rock. But I never really see the mix. And not only do I never see the mix as well, but there's a perception, I think, of fans that it's either J-pop on often, or it's either K-pop and J-pop's the trash. I see very, very few people, and there are people out there, but I see very few people that generally like both. So when I was reacting to this, I was genuinely surprised to see a Japanese artist on a Korean J-pop track, and so it's like the best of both worlds. You got a J-pop artist and a J-pop band. Something I don't really see too much, and obviously there's not only the rival, I think, with fans, but there's the rival obviously over there as well in Japan and in Korea, of them trying to push the music and which one's better and stuff like that. It's like Liverpool, Man United, a little bit over there. There is that. It's that friendly rivalry.
I think that's one of those. It's almost like an unsaid thing, because the thing is that I think, and there are I'm not going to get into obviously the deeper side of it, because obviously there's national sort of. Some people feel national
Yeah,
rivalry. Some actually feel,
we're going to take politics completely out of this. We're not going there.
It is fair to say there is a background where, you know, some people feel it's like a national rivalry, as often most countries have with a neighbor, regardless of history. But there's also a lot of people in Japan who they really love K-pop, and a lot of people in Korea who really love J-pop, and actually feel that the closeness of the two countries having a lot in common as well. So I would say that it's kind of like an unspoken rivalry, and I would say the two genres are so quintessentially different that you tend to, I mean, like, if you're someone who's in Korea, you're not really bothered about J-pop because it's nowhere near as popular internationally as your genre, so you don't even see it as competition. And if you're in Japan, I think you kind of, J-pop is such a different thing. You know, K-pop is in a lot of ways closer to Western pop than it is to Japanese. So in a way, you kind of almost, you know, sort of put K-pop alongside a lot of the Western groups. I think, you know, if you listen to BTS, you probably would listen to Ed Sheeran, you know.
Yeah, I would say that J-rock though is definitely more popular internationally at the minute than K-rock. With the likes of with the like.
Wait, hold on. So you said K-rock? Can you?
Oh yeah, like the bands like Bandmade and the Bites and stuff like that. Things that are exponentially
Oh, you mean
rock?
J-rock is
J-rock is more internationally.
K-rock virtually doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
It's an underground genre. I mean, anyone who knows about that thing that happened. I was Korean rock.
Yeah, I was talking to Christmas from 18 Fevers, and she's like Korean punk. When I was talking to
name dropping.
I know, right? Friends of the channel, ever growing. We're getting there, people. But we were having a conversation, and I was talking to her about like how like K-pop's not really like K-punk is not really like a thing there. It's kind of like stigmatized and kind of frowned upon in the society. She was saying how she had to go, like hide her tattoos as she's walking around and stuff, and how her mum is like, cover those tattoos. Every time she goes around and stuff like that, she goes, it's very, very traditional in that sense. She said it's really
I think that's true in Japan as well, though. I think that's more like a cultural thing than necessarily a musical thing. I mean, I know like tattoos and fashions, they come up with music, but I think that's the same in most cultures. You know, you have like the tattoos and the fashion. You're always going to have, your parents are going to be against that, and
for sure,
alternative, you know.
But the whole point of this conversation is obviously seeing the two come together. Do you reckon this maybe the start of maybe those fences being lowered? Do you reckon we'll start to see more stuff?
I wanted there's two examples that I want to get onto that are not the same, but maybe would lead some precedent to it. Now one of them is, obviously we all know, like, so JYP, I think they're actually based in Japan, ironically, but they are like responsible for some of the biggest names in K-pop, and you know, all of the sort of Korea. If you imagine the stereotype of Korean pop, it's very much JYP. I don't know if BTS is involved with them, but you know, the likes of Twice and various others, there's a lot who are. They had that group a few years ago, probably 3 years ago now, who are still active, called Niziu, and Niziu's whole selling point is that they're Japanese and Korean together. And of course, Twice have a couple of Japanese members who've got their own side projects as well. They got the Taiwanese lass as well. So they were kind of international. So there's been this thing where they've tried to appease, but they've tried to appeal to international audiences by having members of other countries in before. But I think the thing which made this Lisa song, this Lisa featurette, a bit different for me is that those songs always just felt like, well, look, it's still K-pop, it's still Korean pop, it's still done in the most Korean, like, stereotypical way, or according really to the Korean fashion. But there are people who are born from other countries who are, you know, international in there. So they were, I'm not going to say they were tokens, but it was not so musically apparent. So my question is do you feel that Lisa's presence in this song, because this song was very K-pop, and there's nothing wrong with that again, but this song was very much a K-pop song. The video still was very much in a K-pop style, even if it went a little bit dark, it was all that style of direction that we're used to. Do you think that her presence was just her being in a K-pop song, or do you think she actually added something that changed it? And I will point out, for anyone who doesn't know, I think, to be honest, Neon probably has listened to more Lisa than I have. I've listened to a fair bit, but you seem to have had quite a few Lisa reactions on your channel.
Yeah, I would say it's a mixture of two. I feel like she does come in, she does act add to it in her own unique way, but also at the same time, you can't suddenly just go K-pop and then go, oh, I'm just going to throw in something else in there. It needs to complement the song. So she does both to me. She complements the song for what it is, but she also adds that Lisa-esque-ness that she has. Like, you know it's Lisa, you know it's fun, you know she can the thing with Lisa is she has so many personalities, she has such range, it's unbelievable. That's why I really, really love her. Somebody who like particularly likes like the heavier side of like J music, I love Lisa, not only for her pop stuff, but she can do rock, she can do pop, she can go sexy when she wants to.
I love Lisa shirt.
Yeah, I do. Like she can do so much and entertains as well. And she can go energetic, she can be sad and emotional when she needs to be. Like the range on that woman is fucking incredible.
It is true. She can bounce between like being a rock star, pop star, and a ballad singer in like a very flitting way.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is in the way that she adjusts to styles. Does she just adjust to being on this song? I must say that I felt that the way she sang, I felt like she was trying to bring something different. I feel like she wasn't just trying to sing it as a K-pop song. I did feel like she was really trying to throw her voice into it and add her own thing. Because the boys in the back, no disrespect to them, but they were good at what they did. They all had interesting different voices, but they did just kind of sound like a fairly standard boy band. You know, they did what a boy band needs to do. They had a bit of identity, which was cool. They didn't all sound like clones. That was nice. But when she came in, it was like, okay, you can tell that she was a worthwhile featurette because she was bringing something vocally. So in a way, it managed to be a successful K-pop song in my opinion, but it also managed to have a feature that brought something different. Even if it didn't really feel like it was bringing much of Japanese music, it did feel like it was bringing something.
Yeah, she had more of an influence on it. And I'm going to be honest as well. If I saw the title of just Stray Kids, I probably wouldn't have listened to it. Like, I'm making
fairness,
yeah,
the
I'm
Japanese
making those
group Kinky Kids is a thing. Remember, Kinky Kids is a thing. Although that is for a different reason, but on paper, actually, it looks terrifying. As does Mr. Children, Mr. Children and Kinky Kids. There are some very creepy names that you need to know.
Stray Kids is a bit of a weird name, isn't it? But yeah, I probably
the homeless boys,
Backstreet
Cardboard Box Crew.
The Cardboard Box Crew. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I literally came into the song purely probably for the Lisa aspect. If I was coming into the song, it would be purely just because I saw Lisa's name attached to it, which I think has her own pull to this.
Okay, from that perspective, did you feel like, because obviously you're coming into it for one thing, did you feel like the Lost Boys had any, was there part like, oh, I've got to sit through this to get to Lisa, or did you feel that actually worked together? Because for me, I've got to be honest, I felt it worked together. I mean, formulaic, but it worked together in my opinion. And I like that her featurette just popped in and out. It wasn't just, oh, she's in the bridge. She popped in and out. She was part of the ongoing flow of the song.
Yeah, but I definitely would have liked another freaking 30 seconds or something of her in the song for sure. But
you just wanted it to be a Lisa song, didn't you?
Just wanted it to be a Lisa song, yeah. But
all right. Oh, sorry.
I thought there was enough. I thought there was enough in there that it kept me hooked. I liked the bits where she popped up in the song as well, a bit, more so than probably the actual song itself, in all honesty. But it did enough to hook me in, and it did enough for me to hook me to more of the Lisa parts. And in all fairness, as much as I'm taking the piss out of the song here, I didn't hate it.
It doesn't really sound like you're taking the piss at all, actually. It sounds like you're being pretty reasonable.
So
I'm sure a lot of people are going to murder me for even saying that.
I know. I quite enjoyed it, actually. All in all, to be honest. Howard's drinking his poop water.
Shit in a cup because I got the
shit in a cup.
Shit in a cup. Losing some subscribers here. So I wanted to bring up a different thing then, because we're talking obviously about the crossover between K-pop and J-pop, really. I mean, we're going to talk about other genres as well a little bit within that, but the pop aspect seems to be where the crossover is most prevalent, mostly because the Korean rock scene is there, but it doesn't have much reach. And you've got things like Rolling Quartz, etc., but it's not really got a huge amount of reach. So one of the ones I wanted to bring up, and I think this is a really interesting case study. So this is the one that if this topic had come up to me before knowing the song you mentioned, I would have gone straight to Dreamcatcher. Now, for me, the reason I mentioned Dreamcatcher is I find them really interesting. Now, their songs, if you put them on paper, again, something of the K-pop formula. If you look at their videos, something of the K-pop formula.
I've seen their videos.
But what I really
I know
like
exactly why you go to Dreamcatcher.
I gotta be honest. Not for the best part, not really my type. I'll be honest about that. I'll be honest. I know I'm going to get dislikes for saying that. But you know what? You should appreciate it more because I like their music regardless. But the thing is that in all seriousness, although they have a lot of songs that are K-pop formula, they have songs that aren't. Now, I wish I could remember the names of all of them, but they got like songs which are just like normal rock songs with like, you know, drums playing in the background, guitars. It just sounds like it could be a rock band if you didn't know any better. They got songs which go way more into the pop area. There was like that song, Sahara was one of them, which was kind of like had a sort of behind the scenes style video and everything. But like they got Black Sun as well. That's a really cool one where that's just like a straight pop song. And so they have this really interesting variety of songs. But when they go into the rockier side, as they often do, or with a lot of their music, I've noticed they seem to, for their size as a medium tier group, they seem to have a lot of fans in Japan. They release a lot of songs with Japanese versions, which again is common for K-pop. But I think they've got some songs which are only released for Japan and only, I think, or originally were recorded in Japanese. So they seem to have targeted a certain space in the Japanese market and released material specially for that. And for me, I think that's because they work very heavily on fusion. You know, they are in the same way we've had, like in Japan, we've had, you know, baby metal mixed like the kawaii pop with metal, first of all. Then you had groups like Passcode who were doing that sort of more digital style of pop and mixing that with, you know, more frantic style of metal. And you've had all these different crossovers.
Yeah, Blackpink as well. That's another one that's requested a lot.
I'm going to come back to that. But the thing is that, like, for me, Dreamcatcher is the first group who I've really heard them properly do K-pop meets metal in a convincing, repeatable. It's not just a thing that it's not just a throwaway thing. This is something they actually have as part of their sound, and they're doing it well. And not just sticking it, they're varying, but they've really managed to get that mixture between K-pop and metal in a way that reminds me a lot of the J-pop metal revolution from 10 years ago. I will come back to Blackpink if I must. But, any thoughts? I don't know how much Dreamcatcher you've heard, but any thoughts on Dreamcatcher?
Same as you.
Slack jaw when you look at them.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think every K-pop band, they're all luckies. I don't think I can ever tell.
They have a lot of legs.
They have a lot
of legs.
I can't say there's any K-pop video I've not seen and not thought, oh, she's a bit all right.
Well, even Gangnam Style. Oh, although in all fairness, Hyuna walks in halfway through that. So yeah, that was Psy. I was like, "Well, we're getting a bit of a hot."
I love how you had to correct yourself on that one as soon as you made the comment.
Yeah, the minute I was like, "Oh, I got him this time," I was like, "No, Hyuna's in that. She was pretty good in that." Damn it.
But yeah, no, I really, really like them. I really, really like their music as well. I definitely fall very much in like the. This is going to sound. We're going to go back to what you said before in any other video, and I'm not going to go too much into it because we've spoken to it about it a couple of times. But when it comes to K-pop, I like to think of myself that I like. It doesn't matter what the band is. If it's good music, I quite like it. But I think for K-pop in particular is where I do a U. And I don't really listen to male K-pop, but I do like listening to female K-pop.
Is that because the aesthetic quality is so hard to remove from it?
I would say it's aesthetic as well, but I don't know. I think that when they mix it with a lot of English, it is just purely more pleasing, I feel. When I listen to pop, anyway, female voices are just aesthetically more pleasing to listen to in that way. So, you know, if I'm going to listen to K-pop, which is traditionally the same between obviously the guys and the girls, they do the same thing. It's the same type of beats, the same type of drops, the same type of dancing, grinding for the lady, you know, for the the ladies, you got legs for the
Grinding
guys.
for the ladies.
For the ladies.
My dear, would you like to come to the dance floor for a
For a little grind.
Let us bump and grind the evening away to some Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, you got some legs for the guys. And if I was to pick bands between the two, then yeah, like call it perviness, or whatever. I don't really give a fuck. I just find myself falling that way. And not because of the sexy videos or anything. I just like listening to it more and more and more. I know people are going to find that very hard to believe, by the way, but generally,
you need to do what I do and do a video where you explain scientifically why you prefer female voices, and then you can.
But this is the thing. It just seems to be K-pop for me. Like any other genre of music, Japanese music, no problem. Western music, no problem. But when it comes to
more scientific, buddy.
I know, but when it comes to K-pop,
how enough bias do you sexist?
I think it's BTS as well. Like we're gonna lose subscribers now.
So sick.
But I'm so sick of BTS. I think that's one of the reasons that I just like. When I see male K-pop groups, I'm just like, I'm done with that whole thing. I think that's a big part of it, to be honest.
I read some of BTS's lyrics. So I was just like, nah, dude, nah. I mean, I accept pop lyrics as generally tend to be a bit bad, but it's just kind of like with I remember I reviewed BTS like years ago, and like loads of people got in. It was kind of similar to the thing I was talking about with Taka from 1OK Rock. Like the real heavy fans came in, and there was a lot of people saying it's like, but don't you realize the guy from BTS, whatever his name is, who writes all the song, he's like a genius with like a 200-point IQ and stuff. I was like, where is it in this song? I can't hear it in this song. He's like, if he's got that kind of IQ, then why do the lyrics make no sense? But anyway. But I think that's the interesting thing is that like when you get past a lot of that, there are pop always has stupid lyrics. There's always stupid lyrics in pop. We know that. But the question is, that song is way too catchy. But the thing is it fun? Is it entertaining? And I always come back to the fact that, I mean, Dreamcatcher for me are the most interesting of the K-pop groups. And I'd say if you want a group who are just catchy and do a good job, then Twice I think have a really good hit ratio of just really good fun songs.
Twice are good as well.
So those are like the two groups who I would go to, ironically both female. But I think coming back to the main topic here though, is really, do you think, I mean, how would you put J-pop and K-pop together? Because from obviously my side of things, I'm always very much, songwriting is what I look at. And it seems to me that J-pop and K-pop, and from a songwriting standpoint, are almost antithetical to each other. They almost negate each other. To write a K-pop song almost requires that you leave out most of what makes J-pop so interesting, and to write a J-pop song almost requires that you leave out what makes K-pop so interesting. I think there is a middle ground, but it would have to be very carefully argued.
I think it will just be more featured song. I don't think you should take away from the song. I'd like to see more Korean pop acts on Japanese songs, and I'd like to see more Japanese on K-pop songs. But as long as they are,
let's revisit that. Let's revisit that, because we did that whole feature thing before. What is your dream J-pop, K-pop crossover feature?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a good one, isn't it? Even though I'm asking you.
I would go Dreamcatcher, and I'm gonna pick a band that I think would suit them, and say probably the most obvious. Probably Bandmade. I think a Dreamcatcher Bandmade song would actually be quite chill. I think they're rocky enough.
I think I would agree. I think I agree. Yeah.
I think they're rocky enough that they could pull that off.
I think hearing like because as I say they've done some
especially with Miku as well, who dabbles in like obviously Klipper and stuff like that, is like I could just see that really working.
I think I think because there's a certain degree of precedent for that, because Dreamcatcher played around with doing a couple of hard rock songs, which were just straight hard rock songs that could have been band songs before. I think if you did that again, but then put it in the hands of Bandmade, who are such a complete hard rock act, then you could end up with something properly interesting from that. So I'm inclined to agree. I think that would be
the music video would be amazing. Just get the Dreamcatchers girls and just have Miku dance with them. Like she's the front lady, the lead girl of this group. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. Actually, I'm I'm willing to say that that would be really awesome. Yeah,
So,
Dreamcatcher and Bandmate would be really awesome. I think I can put a vote down for that. Yeah.
what would yours be?
Shit.
This is the good thing about going first for like somebody said.
Yeah.
I get to say these. I'm usually
Well, see,
I'm usually the person that goes second. So like when you say something, I'm like, fuck, I have to think of something else on the spot.
I like how you've taken like my #1 most interesting K-pop pick and put it with the band who I literally wear on my hat. So that you've just cornered me out of all of the options that you know that I would dive into. To roll me straight out of that. All right, so I'm gonna need something crazy and fun. And I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put Twice on it. And I would be very okay with it. Twice can do some interesting songs. I mean, I noticed like Twice deal okay, although obviously they like most pop groups, when they have a rapper, it's like a pop rapper, but their rap bits tend to be quite fun and upbeat, and they play well with what they've got. They don't like overreach. It's not like that Blackpink area where they think that they're really good at it and they make themselves look stupid. But so talking about subject for another time.
Subject for the end of this video. I want to know your take now.
Oh shit, Howard gets cancelled. So to be honest, I kind of feel like, and this feels a bit obvious because it's right behind me with the Gatrick Spin thing. Like they're actually in the corner of the frame now. But I'm just kind of imagining, because Gatrick Spin are really doing those anthemic songs. And of course, Gatrick Spin have had dancers on stage for a whole phase of their career previously. Yeah. They have multiple singers. And obviously they did things like Doll's Box. And so I'm kind of like, there's this part of me that kind of wants to hear like a heavy Gatrick Spin. Maybe even I should just say Doll's Box, which is already a crossover band, with Twice, because I kind of want to have that heavier aspect.
Yeah.
But also the weird time changes, because I think that Twice could probably deal with that, because they've done some pretty, not super, but pretty weird songs.
I set you up here for like a Twice Dada Dams crossover. You failed me, Howard.
No, because if I've got Dada Dams, I don't need Twice. I'm sorry, you're great. I've already got Dada Dams.
Love that. Yes. Oh, we're running out of time. You're lucky. All right. We got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna make this into our own little segment video. Blackpink.
Oh.
What are your thoughts? You didn't think you were getting away with that? Come on.
All right. Okay. Look, plenty of people have heard me talk about this before. I'm going to address this real quick. Does it?
It is going to be real quick.
Yeah, let's get this shit out of here. Yeah, we got 10 minutes left. That's long enough to bury myself. Look, the reason I'll say this first of all. I know this is really obvious, so I'll just get this disclaimer out of the way. Obviously, if you like something, it's fine. Everything's subjective. You like what you like. I have this issue personally with. I mean, I like groups to have attitude. Attitude's kind of fun. If you have a bit of attitude, it works. But you kind of gotta back it up with something. All right, you gotta back it up with something. So if you're going to be a hard rocking band, you gotta have songs that got a little bit of grit, a little bit of punch to them. Yeah, a little bit of attitude with that. It's fine. If you want to be a sort of group who's playful, then make your music playful. Just kind of back it up. The problem that it's kind of like. So the problem with like Blackpink for me is kind of like an actor going on stage, like to do like a really sort of brooding part, but then his script was written by like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old who's doing like a play for their like. It's like nothing about what you're doing backs up all the attitude, and Blackpink's like, Blackpink in your area, and it's like, all right, what do you? Oh, this song is so fucking lame, and it's just all their songs is like all this tough swagger and stuff. And I've seen interviews with Blackpink; they seem to be nice people, but their songs make them come off like a bunch of fucking assholes, and they're not that good. They're not interesting. It's just like this really generic sort of bob your head kind of stuff. And yeah, don't get me wrong, like Twice have some generic songs, but they also balance it out with some songs that are kind of nice and fun. And honestly, like Blackpink, they seem like nice people, but their songs are boring, generic, and they've got this like cringy attitude thing. I don't want to see you acting all tough. It's like, Dreamcatcher can get away with it because of the fact their songs actually kick some ass. It's like, your generic 20-year-old hip hop beats with not much else going on for them is not working for me. All right. You're not going to come swagging in with those old man hip hop beats. I mean, that sounds like the sort of hip hop that was going on when I was in school. You can tidy it up, but those beats are trash.
All right, well, let's leave it at that. There you go. That was.
You got nothing to say.
I got nothing to say. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Three minutes of a little Howard rant at the end of the video. Who says we don't tack on bonus content?
I'm going to call this chapter "Howard Digs a Grave," and then just the last 30 seconds where he say goodbye is like Neon buries him.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this subject. We'd like to hear more, again, as always, from the comments, because we do read the comments, about what you think about the Korean-Japanese rivalry, collabs, any bands that have done anything that maybe me and Howard haven't spoken about today. We'd love to hear, name some bands, link some videos down below. That way we can go and check them out as well, or we'll cover them on our separate channels as well, and then reconvene. So, but we appreciate all the support and everything from you guys. The channel's been doing really, really well recently. The videos have been getting quite a lot of views, which is in turn thanks to Mr. Howard's amazing thumbnails that he's been doing, but also because of you guys as well.
Thank you.
Subscribing, sharing. Here I am trying to be positive, and I was just like,
I just shut my phone now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, no, that was my fingernail. Fuck. All right, I can't even pass. Here's me complaining. I can't even pass first year geography, biology. Shit. All right, I'm done. I'm not going to talk anymore. You continue the outro.
Yeah. As always, guys, keep your ears to the east. Be awesome. Subscribe. Go and share the channel to all your friends, families, nans, grands, dogs. I don't give a shit. Just go and make sure they know that this channel exists, and we would really appreciate it. And yeah, there you go. Stay awesome, stay safe, and remember that Howard doesn't know basic biology. Bye, guys.